What's up, YouTube? This is Grayman47 coming at you. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to take a look at one of my favorite Glocks, and that's the Glock 17. And this is a great gun for home defense. It could also be used for EDC if you like to carry a larger full-size, full-duty weapon. But I'm recommending it for a home-duty defense gun. So I'm going to take a look at the Gen 5 Glock 17. Let's do it. Alright, so when you purchase this pistol, Glock gives you its normal plastic case that comes along with the gun. So it's good for transporting the gun from place to place, like to the range, back and forth to the range and home. So they give you that case. Also inside of the case they give you a cleaning brush for your pistol. So that's another added bonus. And then in addition to that, this Glock 17 Gen 5, you get a variety of back straps for the pistol. So they give you a couple that have no beaver tail, and then there's a couple that you get that actually have a beaver tail. So the one that I have, I believe, is the medium-sized back strap with the beaver tail. I personally like the beaver tail just because the higher I get up on the gun, it only lets me get so high up. And then I never get slide bite. So I just like the beaver tail for that reason. And I just feel like it gives me a nice purchase on the pistol. Alright, so let's take a look at this gun a little bit closer. Again, this is the Gen 5 version of the Glock 17. And for those of you that aren't familiar with Glocks, Glock is a very well-known across the world, very well-known gun. Very reliable. It's known for its reliability. And it also is utilized by a number of different law enforcement agencies, whether it be local or federal agencies. They use this pistol as one of their options. There are also a number of different military units that use Glocks as well. So Glocks are tested. They are just extremely reliable and extremely simple to use, and that's why a lot of these agencies in law enforcement or agencies in military units actually use this pistol. A lot of people that are civilians also carry Glocks. I'm a big fan of Glock. I wouldn't consider myself a Glock fanboy simply because I run a lot of other different guns as well and enjoy different platforms, but I gotta say Glock is at the top of my list of one of my favorite pistols and manufacturers. So when you get the Glock 17 in the Gen 5 configuration, the coating on the slide is a little different than the Gen 4 configuration. I think it is a little bit shinier than the coating that's on the Gen 4, and it's supposed to be a little bit more scratch resistant. So me personally, I can't really tell much of a difference in terms of how well they hold up to being scratched and worn. So I really can't give you too much input on that. I think all of the different generations do a good job with that. If you notice on this particular Glock, there's whiteout on the lettering and the numbers. That's just something I like to do periodically on some of my pistols. I just use whiteout. I think it just gives it a neater look. So I do that just periodically. It doesn't come like that. It would just be blacked out. Also on the slide here of this pistol, the particular version that I actually purchased came with metal night sights. They're actually true glow night sights with tritium tritium valves in the middle. There's a high vis orange dot that you can see that's on the front post, and then there's a tritium valve in the middle for night sights, and then the back sights both have tritium valves, and there are serrations on the back sights so that it reduces glare. So the version that I bought came with the metal night sights and not those typical crappy plastic sights that that Glock usually supplies you with. Alright, so what else is different about the Glock 17 Gen 5? On the Gen 5, there are a couple of other things that they changed when it came to the frame of the gun. So for example, one of the things that they changed was the finger grooves that they typically had on the other generations. I think it was 3 and 4. They actually had finger grooves here And I actually have a Gen 4 here. This is a Glock 21 Gen 4, but these finger grooves that they supplied on this particular pistol did not fit a lot of people. So if your hands weren't perfectly aligned with the pistol, it just doesn't fit right, and then your fingers end up on the bumps of these finger grooves. So therefore it becomes very uncomfortable for a lot of people. I personally don't really love these finger grooves that were on the Gen 4. But that's one of the things that they changed about the Gen 5 is they got rid of those. And that was a result of a lot of people making that request. And I have to say that, yeah, it feels much better without those finger grooves. It just feels much more comfortable. My hands fit right on the front strap. My fingers fit right around that front strap nice and smoothly. So it's an easy transition to my grip. So I gotta say that removing those thumb grooves or those finger grooves made a big difference for a lot of people like myself. Also on the frame, the mag release itself is pretty large. It's a decent sized mag release, easy to press, and as you know, Glock magazines typically just fall right out as you press the magazine or the release, which makes it really easy. All right. Also, in addition to that, with this magazine, is they also, on the version that I have, they have this little cutout in the front of the magazine. And that was supposed to be useful whenever you have a magazine that's stuck and you needed to rip it out. So you are able to reach around and rip it out based on this little cutout here. It was supposed to make it easier to rip out. There were a lot of complaints about this. Some people didn't like it. I think some people's fingers maybe got caught between this actual hole and the base plate itself. So I think on the newer models of the Gen 5, they got rid of this little cut, and so it's not there anymore. For me, it really doesn't matter. But you know, I don't have a preference either way. It's not a big deal. It doesn't impede my grip. It doesn't you know, pinch my finger or anything like that. So for me, it's perfectly fine with that being there. Another thing that they did with the Gen 5 is they made the mag well flare just a little bit, just ever so slightly, so that inserting the magazine will be very easy to do. So there is a mag well flare built into the grip also with this one. So that's a plus, that's a bonus. The next thing that they did was they actually gave customers 3 magazines with this pistol. So you get 3 17-round magazines with the Glock 17. That's another benefit of having a Glock 17 is it's a 17-round standard magazine. They give you 3 of them, and then the follower is also, the magazine follower is also orange, so it's easy to spot when the magazine is empty. So that's that. The numbers on the back of the magazines on mine are white, and that's because, again, I used whiteout to do that. It makes it real easy to spot those numbers without really having to do too much searching for that. So again, they give you 3 magazines. As you can see, I have 3 that came with it. 1 that I have unloaded in this pistol that we're using for the video, as well as 2 with rounds in it. All right, so one of the things that I noticed at the range when it comes to your full-size duty weapons like this that you might use for home defense is that they just shoot better than, in my opinion, they just shoot better than your compact and subcompact pistols, simply because they're bigger, they're heavier, they reduce recoil. So especially when you're talking about a 9mm cartridge like the 17 has, I mean, they just really shoot a lot better than your compact and subcompact pistols. I carried a Glock 19 for quite some time, and I actually bought this Glock 17 to replace a 19 just because the 19 just doesn't shoot as smoothly as the 17 does. And I know the 17 is a little larger, but I mean, what you get in size, you also get in performance as well. You have a longer sight radius, so accuracy usually is improved when you go to these full-size pistols. So when you're in the home, and you're using this for home defense, you don't have to worry about how big the gun is. It doesn't need to be compact because you're not concealing it. You're not wearing it on your body. If you hear something go bump in the night and you're grabbing a gun, it doesn't matter if it's a larger full-size duty weapon. Actually, you're probably better off with the larger pistol because they're going to shoot better. There's a little bit, for new gun owners, there's a little bit of a misconception. A lot of new gun owners think that a bigger gun actually has more recoil and kicks harder than a smaller gun does, when actually it's the reverse. So when it comes to a home security pistol, don't worry about the size. As long as it fits in your hand and you can manipulate it and it works well and you can shoot it well at the range, don't worry about the size. Like I said, for my home defense gun, I use a full-size duty weapon, which is a Glock 21, which is a little larger and heavier and thicker than the 17 is, but it's a 45 caliber. All right. So that's what I think about this pistol as far as a home defense gun. I think it's a fantastic option. A lot of people who are looking for something to put on their nightstand, this is a gun to really look at, especially if it's not your only gun and you need to conceal carry it and use it for home defense at the same time. Great option here if you don't plan on taking it out. All right, so what did I add to this pistol? To be honest with you, I didn't add very much to the pistol at all. As I said a little bit ago, it came with the night sights, the Trugo night sights that are on it right now. So I didn't have to add that. Typically, I would add that whenever I receive a Glock that has the plastic sights, but I didn't have to on this one. I did, like I told you earlier, I did add the Talon grips. Just makes the gun fit like a glove. For me, I really enjoy Talon grips, so I added that. And then I also added the light here. This is a Glock OEM light. Not the best light in the world. I don't love this light, but it works. It's about, I think, 100 or 200 lumen. So nothing fancy, but it does work on the pistol. So I added that, and pretty much that's all I added to the gun. I'm a big stickler on leaving my gun stock. Like I tell a lot of people, Glock and some of the other manufacturers out there, they spend a lot of money on R&D, research and development, so that their guns will run the way that they should run without malfunctions. So when you start tinkering with the internals of a gun, you start messing with some of the springs inside the barrel and all of that, you run the risk of making your gun not function the way it was intended to function. So I don't even play around with all of that stuff. So I don't even, especially with Glocks, I don't even mess with any of the internals. I leave them stock. I'm pretty big on that. Now, as far as an additional thing that I did purchase for the pistol, I did purchase these 33 round magazines. These are a blast to shoot at the range. They make reloading not such a chore because you can throw 33 rounds in here. And then I have two of them, so I can fill these both up with 33 rounds each, and then I can shoot for quite some time without reloading. I mean, they fit right in the Glock. Obviously, you're going to have some magazine that hangs out when you do put these 33 rounders in the pistol, but they are easy to use, and they make the experience a lot more fun. So I did purchase these. A lot of people will say, hey, they make some cheaper versions from different manufacturers. I think these run on average about $40 a piece. But some people will say that you can get them cheaper if you get some of the other aftermarket other brands. I'm just not a big fan of buying the other brands. I like Glocks, so I get the Glock version of the 33 round magazines. I just pay the $40. That is a lot for a magazine, but it's a 33 round magazine, and I know Glock made it, and it's Glock quality, so I did purchase those. All right, so I have some range footage for you. You'll get an opportunity to see me shooting out on the range, and then I'll kind of talk a little bit more about the pistol and its performance during there. So let's get it started. All right, y'all, I'm out here with the Glock 17 out on the range, Gen 5. Like I said earlier in the video, these full-size duty weapons make for good shooting. They're just very easy to control. They just feel good in the hand. So I'm going to shoot this one. I got 15 rounds in the magazine. I know it's a 17 round magazine, but I got 15 in the magazine now. The cost of ammo is out of control, but I have 15 rounds instead of 17. I'm gonna put 5 on one target, 5 on the second target, and 5 on the third target. And guys, listen, I'm using paper plates because paper plates make great targets. They're super inexpensive. Not only are they inexpensive, but they show your hits very clearly. So if you want to use paper plates, you know, don't feel bad about it. Use paper plates. I use them all the time, in addition to other targets. All right, here we go. They show your hits very easily. They're a good size to practice shooting on, and once you're done with them, it's easy just to rip them off and throw them away and throw a couple more up, and you're good to go. So use paper targets when you don't have anything else, or even if you do have something else. Paper targets make a cool target, paper plates. All right, so like I always say, you guys, if you ain't packing, you slacking. I'll see you when I see you.